Hello and thanks for joining us on your number one labor program from Africa to the rest of the world, the tripartite, the worker, employer, and government roundtable. I remain your host, Abulu Osemwahu. Thank you. Now, in this package, we'll be bringing you an interview we had with the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, telling us why talks on new national minimum wage have not begun as promised in the month of July. Also on this package, what do you need to know about the welfare and protection of migrant workers in the state of Qatar? So we had an interaction with the presidents of Nigerians in diaspora Qatar and that of Kenyans in diaspora Qatar. They will be telling us all you need to know. Also on this package, we will bring you an archival material on how social justice can help bring peace to the world and solve the issue of poverty, and also provide decent work for millions of workers. And don't forget, our usual, the global update on labor issues. And in this package, be expecting to hear what the Nigerian government is saying about fake recruitment and all those job seekers who jump into every meal to apply for a job.
I am Comrade Festus Osifo, President Pengasan, President TUC. You are watching Tripartite on AIT.
Tripartite strength, we can conquer it all.
All right, it's nice to know you are still there. Let's quickly bring you the interview we had with the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero.
What happens in July is doing a letter for negotiation to start, not, discussion starting, because it's not under your control, because the other social partners, have to agree on a date and modality on how to meet, and even the resource materials, have to be gathered, And in this regard, we are working seriously to have a joint proposal, between NLC and TUC. So, when such a thing happens, you equally need a joint committee to harmonize it. We may be looking for 1 million, and they may be looking for 2 million, for instance. So we need to come together and agree on it. And, for you to get issues harmonized when two centers are involved, well, they have their own programs for the year, and you have your own programs for the year. So you need to look for a time where the two can meet.
The employers say they don't mind you starting early in the talks, but they will not accept pushing some amount to their clothes.
Well, I won't respond to that, but I will equally not be sympathetic to employers that look for slave wage. That is a no-no, whether you are pushing wage through their nose or not. If employers that are not making it cannot draw us back when the cost of living is equally on the high side. So we have to balance these two.
Don't forget you proposed 615 last time and you landed at 70.
Well, I think in wage negotiation and proposal, you have to look at the proposal now. Proposal is what can sustain a family. That's the proposal. And then when you move into it, you now look at issues, including the ability to pay. And that's where we normally have challenges. Because, if it is possible for us to segment wages, the labor movement won't mind. Because if you look at the contradiction of the last negotiation, you know why I'm saying this. If Mr. President could tell us that, look, I can pay you people 100, I can pay you 150. But the governors and others, we have to take them into consideration. And those ones say they can't pay more than 60,000 at a negotiation that collapsed. It was at the level of Mr. President's intervention that the issue of 70,000 was settled. The same governors went home. Some are paying 100, some are paying 80. Now, how do you resolve that? And then the federal government is now seen as the weak one that is paying 70. And almost others, all others, even if it's 2,000, they added it on top of what the federal government agreed to pay. So I think this time around we have to look at it, since even across the states, payments can never be uniform, even within the states, depending on their ability. So the federal government can no longer hide under the issue of what will happen within the subnationals to determine theirs. So we look at all these options. So, but on the question of what it should be now, people that are earning 1 million per month, it's not enough for them, because as your means, so your demands. If people suppress building their own one room and then they feed every month, it doesn't mean that they are comfortable. If people suppress being landlords and they want to be tenants for 50 years, it's not because they are comfortable. So I think there are some other issues we have to look at. People suppress even putting their students, their children to school, to better schools, to survive. Those are survival instincts and strategies. So, but if you are looking at classically how it should be, I can tell you that a family of 4 or 5 or 6, if they run on 1 million budget, it will finish before the end of the month.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this segment of the program. I'm flanked by 2 Africans. This is Dr. Mira, the president of Nigerians community in Doha, that is Qatar, and I have Dr. Omar Farah. He is representing the Kenyan community in Doha, that is Qatar. They are the leaders of their various countries in that country. So I'll be asking them 1 or 2 things with regards to their support to their members. Because as you know, in Qatar, unions are not allowed. So these communities stand in place of unions. They relate with the country's Ministry of Labor and Employment and every other thing that has to do with workers' welfare, migrant workers, domestic workers' welfare, those workers in building and construction, and what have you. So let me start with our Nigerian. Hello, doctor.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So tell us, how has it been managing migrant workers from Nigeria in Qatar so far? So tell me, how has it been managing these migrants in Qatar?
Yes, again, to manage the migrants, Nigerian migrants here in Qatar, it's not been easy. Thank God we have at least a level of experience which we've gained over time from the Ministry of Labor here in Qatar, and a couple of supports from some of our supporting organizations like the Worker Support Insurance Funds, where they give us these trainings to manage our people irrespective of their backgrounds, irrespective of the culture, irrespective of the career where they find themselves. So once we get difficult tasks to handle, we come among ourselves as community leaders to share ideas, and then God has been helping, and we have been doing well in that sector.
Okay, Dr. Omar, you've been in Qatar for almost more than 2 decades. Tell me, how has it been managing Kenyans that migrate to Qatar?
If I say easy, I will be unfair. It has been challenging, but we live to resolve challenges. So it has been a good experience for me. I feel happy when I see someone having an issue and I'm able to resolve it. So I'm motivated by supporting others. And to me, it's been a privilege.
Okay, now will you say that Kenyans that migrate to Qatar have lesser problem getting jobs? And if not, what are these restrictions that you would like the government of Qatar to address?
Actually, first, when we look at migration, we need to look at the process. Before we even look at where they are going, we need to look at why they left. If you live properly and you get a work visa coming for a company, chances are that you will be able to be accommodated properly and you'll have a job that you can work for. However, if you started wrongly and you find yourself in this country, you have a problem because, I mean, you are out of the system from legal perspective, and therefore it is difficult. So first, before I even ask the Qatar government to provide value to these people who are coming, I need to ensure that the origin and the start of moving from where we are coming from in Africa to here has to be legal. When you find yourself in a situation where you are illegal in this country, you are supposed to report to your embassy and your community leaders so that they can tell you how best you can be supported. We have a way of helping you. Sometimes the government is providing amnesty for people who have come and are finding themselves illegal, so you can be able to use that opportunity for amnesty to change a job, or sometimes you can find a way of making sure that you raise your issue so that it can be addressed. Maybe somebody just fleeced you some money, brought you here, but it wasn't your intention. So when you come here, if you don't report, it's your problem. If you report, it's someone's problem. So for you to be supported, you must report.
Okay, fine. You have anything to say to that?
Yes, he actually has nailed it because we have similar concerns also from the Nigerian community where we find some of these our migrant workers here, but somehow maybe they become illegal residents here. But because of this privilege of having amnesty from the government, you can now...
So the right word is irregular, but not illegal. Immigration,
irregular.
Irregular.
Yeah, irregular, when you're irregular migrant here. And then when you have the opportunity to use this amnesty from the government, you regularize your stay here, and then now you have better privileges to get jobs. And
now, have you contended, or are you contending with issues of your members who are workers not having minimum wage paid to them? And how have you approached such issues?
Yes, we have such cases, but thank God for the Ministry of Labor here in Qatar. They give us this window for community leaders to report such cases through a portal, because we as community leaders here from every country, they call us this, they give us this opportunity to be community advisors. So once we get such cases, we bring it to the Ministry of Labor, and then they address it from there. You know, they try now to address the dispute between the employer and employee, you know, to meet up with the standard of that position where they occupy.
Yeah, so the minimum wage in Qatar is basic 1,000, and then 300 for food, and then 500 for accommodation. And normally transport is provided, and that is total of 1,800. That is the basic minimum for the last person who is supposed to be paid. The rest of the people are semi-skilled and skilled. They are regulated by their places of work. But 1,000 basic is the minimum age.
We talked about abuses, and we have had complaints about sexual harassment of migrant workers, domestic workers, and what have you. So have you had those support, those calls, those complaints, those distress calls?
Yes, I think.
And how have you handled them?
From the Nigerian community, and I will just take it in generic, the African community, because we community leaders, we still have another platform where we call the Africa Unite, where these African communities come together. And over time, if you have any difficulties or any challenges we cannot handle, we come there and share ideas. And I think most recently, there have not been much of cases like that. And the few we've had, we were able to manage because we had to sort for support from the government of Qatar, you know, where the Ministry of Labor jumps in and addresses these situations with the help of the police. But then, because Qatar have a very good system of security, such reoccurrences don't come often or don't even happen, because the way they address it mitigates the reoccurrences. So I will take it that such harassments are not a common thing here in Qatar.
Fine. As I normally put it, there is action and reaction. For everything that you see, there has to be a reason why it happened. And sometimes some of the reasons could be in relation to the way you behave, the way you project yourself, and your appearance. That could make a person either approach you and abuse you or look at you and respect you. So first, we've got to handle our conduct. Second, when it is done, when it happens, it must be reported. Because if you do not report it, no one will take action.
My name is Luc Triangle, General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation. Keep on watching Tripartite TV.
Tripartite string, we can conquer it all.
Now let's quickly take you around the world on Global Update on labor issues. Migrant workers bound for some European countries may suffer neglect, as Euro Weekly News has reported that Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, has threatened to suspend Schengen arrangements with Spain after the mass crossings into Ceuta, raising an obvious question for anyone planning to fly between the two countries. There are no new travel checks in place, and Spain cannot simply be expelled from the passport-free zone, but Italy could seek to restore temporary controls if it believes there is a serious security threat. This is why Italy is making the threat. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni issued the warning on Thursday, July 30th, after speaking with Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi. Writing on X, she said Italy was prepared to adopt extraordinary measures to defend its borders and protect national security, including suspending the Schengen agreement with Spain. Spain reacted swiftly through its foreign minister, José Manuel Albares, who summoned Italy's ambassador, criticizing Tajani's comments as partisan political rhetoric rather than an example of European solidarity. The tripartite tried to inquire if Italy can actually suspend Schengen with Spain. The short answer is no, because Italy cannot unilaterally expel Spain from the Schengen area or suspend Spain's membership. That decision is not within the power of any single country. However, European Union rules do allow individual Schengen countries to temporarily reintroduce internal border controls in exceptional situations where they believe there is a serious threat to public order or internal security. The Swedish Migration Agency has published a list of 21 occupational groups allowed to work in Sweden without obtaining a work permit. The exemptions cover a wide range of professions, from researchers and journalists to professional athletes and diplomatic staff. The guidance published on the agency's website makes clear that it is the responsibility of each individual and not the migration agency to determine whether they fall within an exempt category. The following 21 groups may work in Sweden without a work permit. 1. Specialists within an international group for less than 1 year. 2. Employees in an international group participating in skills development for a maximum of 3 months. 3. Participants in a business deal for a maximum of 3 months. 4. Diplomatic and consular officials along with their family members and staff. 5. Installers or technical instructors responding to crisis situations for a maximum of 2 months. 6. People on temporary assignment for radio or television for a maximum of 1 month. 7 artists, technicians, and other tour staff invited by an established organizer for a maximum of 14 days. 8. Professional athletes and officials for a maximum of 3 months. 9. Train personnel and lorry drivers. 10. Drivers and staff on tourist coaches for a maximum of 3 months. 11. Representatives working temporarily in Sweden. 12. Caregivers accompanying a visitor for a maximum of 3 months. 13. Researchers or teachers in higher education for a brief period for a maximum of 3 months. 14. Researchers carrying out part of their research in Sweden for a maximum of 180 days. 15. Workers on temporary assignments connected to construction projects. 16. Journalists working temporarily in Sweden. 17. Witnesses or injured parties involved in a criminal investigation. 18. Persons taking part in a relief effort. 19. Holders of a residence permit for mobility studies tied to higher education for a maximum of 360 days.
20. Members or civilian personnel of a foreign armed force. 21. People covered by the Defense Cooperation Agreement between Sweden and the United States. Germany lists 7 conditions foreign skilled workers must meet to get permanent residence. Germany's settlement permit offers skilled workers the right to live and work in the country indefinitely, including as self-employed individuals. Applicants must have held a qualifying residence title for at least 3 years and made pension contributions for a minimum of 36 months. Have proof of German language skills at B1 level and a basic knowledge of German society are among the key requirements workers must satisfy. The German government confirmed that eligible workers can apply for what is legally known as a settlement permit under Section 18C of the Residence Act. Unlike a temporary permit, the settlement permit carries no expiry date and allows holders to both work as employees and run their own businesses, with no restrictions on family members living alongside them. But who qualifies as skilled worker? Before assessing the individual requirements, Germany defines skilled worker, quite specifically under the law, as people who completed recognized vocational training either in Germany or abroad, holders of German or internationally recognized university degrees, EU blue card holders, and international researchers under EU Directive 2016/801. Applicants who fall outside these groups would not be eligible to apply under Section 18C, regardless of how long they have lived in the country. The Nigerian federal government has warned Nigerians against 7 common mistakes that could cost them government jobs, including paying recruiters, using fake job portals, and missing application deadlines. The warning was issued by the Federal Character Commission (FCC) in a public awareness message published on its website. With thousands of Nigerians constantly searching for federal government jobs, the Commission said many applicants unknowingly hurt their own chances by ignoring recruitment guidelines, using fake websites, or trusting unofficial vacancy announcements shared on social media. According to the FCC, these are the 7 mistakes applicants should avoid. Bilateral ties between Nigeria and Qatar are deepening as the new ambassador to the Middle East country, Mahmoud Yakubu, has met the Qatari Minister of Labour Ali bin Saeed bin Samik Al-Mari. The meeting is aimed at creating employment opportunities for Nigerians and deepening energy cooperation. The Nigerian envoy outlined the visit as part of the Tinubu administration's 4D doctrine of Nigeria's foreign policy, which prioritizes active diaspora engagement. African mining unions have launched the African Mining Network, AMNet, to coordinate regional action on the sector. The network will focus on mine workers' rights, precarious work, health and safety, critical minerals, supply chain accountability, and a just transition across the continent. It will also defend workers against precarious work, promote freedom of association, collective bargaining, and living wages. The network will confront casualization, subcontracting, and migrant labor exploitation.
Well, I hope you had fun listening to stories from different continents and including Nigeria, Africa. So as we told you in the opening, we have an archival material on social justice. There are people that spoke about how social justice can help bring peace to the world. This material was from 2023 International Labour Conference.
Did you know?
We have a unique opportunity to bend the arc of history in favor of social justice. The price is a world where everyone can fulfill their potential and enjoy the benefits of economic and social progress. Let us seize this opportunity and take this chance to show our collective commitment, to show our collective determination, and let us not be afraid to be bold in our approach.
Social justice is the basic of every stable society. Without solving social justice, we will face a lot of critical decisions. And I think I appeal to all the UN, all the governments, to really concentrate on social justice, because we have reached a stage in the world that social justice is probably the most important item for every individual and for families.
There can be no lasting peace or sustainable development without social justice. And ILO can take an initiative, and international community should come forward and assist people. No one should lag behind.
Together, I do believe that we can create a world where every individual, regardless of their background or circumstances, has equal access to opportunities, has equal access to rights, and a decent quality life.
Multilateralism is not an option. It is a necessity as we strive to build back better for a more equal, more resilient, and more sustainable world. Only through collective action can we truly recover together.
I support a global coalition for social justice. There's a deep recognition that to make this world a better place, there is no one topic or no one organization or no one leader who can allow it to happen. To make our world a better, fairer place, we need a coalition of the willing to work together.
Did you know?
My name is Mohammed Megardi Gadi, the Minister of Labor and Employment. You are watching the Tripartite program on AIT.
Tripartite strength, we can conquer it all.
Let's do this again next time, but don't forget, every segment of this program is open for sponsorship. I remain your host, Abulu Osemahu. Thank you.
AIT, sharing the African experience. AIT, sharing the African experience.
Thanks for joining us on Nigeria Today. I am Enemaku Ajochegbe.
And I am Adora Sydney Jack. Welcome.
We'll begin on this note. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has frozen the Osun State government's accounts at First Bank 10 days before the governorship election. The anti-graft agency placed the account, which was apparently used to pay workers paychecks, in post-no-debit status. The development came just hours after Governor Ademola Adeleke claimed the EFCC was preparing to freeze the state's and top government officials' accounts. Addressing journalists at the Government House, Governor Adeleke says there was no legal basis for freezing the accounts of the state government, arguing that the EFCC lacked the statutory powers to take such action.
This morning, we received a letter from our banker forwarding a letter from the EFCC instructing the bank to freeze Osun State government account. This action was taken without any court order. We are supposed to be in democracy, where the rule of law must always prevail. We will therefore not accept any situation where federal agencies trample on the constitutional right of subnational governments. This is a threat to democracy. If we all keep quiet and allow this illegality, very soon, whatever is left of our democracy will be fully eroded.
The governor also directed the Attorney General of Osun State to challenge this illegality at the Federal High Court in Osogbo.
Now, communities on the outskirts of Nigeria's capital city are renewing calls for inclusive development, saying access to basic infrastructure and economic opportunities should not be determined by location. Residents of Kaida Sabo, a largely agrarian community on the fringes of the Federal Capital Territory, say interventions by civil society organizations have transformed livelihoods where government support has been limited.
For the people of Kaida Sabo, access to an ICT center, support for sustainable farming and other community projects became possible through the intervention of Action Aid and its partners. Beyond improving livelihood, the intervention is also encouraging citizens to know their rights and hold government accountable for its responsibilities.
And it shows that the further you are from center of town, the least development you would experience, or the least development you will see. Now, with this development we are seeing, should this be the case? Should this be the case? The answer is no. So if this is not be the case, then what do we do to make sure we turn this around? What do we do to work with the community to change this kind of situation?
It has been set up in terms of be it ICT center or different trainings that have happened, but to learn about the impact that has had in their community. As you know, we've run a number of different programs on gender-based violence. We have a project called Gender Action Learning Systems. We have the savings and loans support that we've given them.
The leadership of the community says the support has expanded opportunities for residents and accelerated development. While appreciating Action Aid's intervention, they urge government to fulfill its promises by providing critical infrastructure and services.
Our children who have not seen computer before, they can now have access to computer. They can operate computer, Microsoft Excel, CorelDRAW, and internet services. They all have the knowledge. Printing can be done here. Photocopy can be done here instead of going to Dobby, which is about 1 hour distance.
Here we discovered there were so many boys proving talent to our understanding, and we really know. And actually today they have expressed it because the way our boys, our youth were speaking.
Stakeholders says communities like Kaida Sabo plays an important role in agriculture and should not be overlooked in development planning. Landry Papalola, AIT News, Abuja.
Now, Cross River State is pushing for a broader community-based approach to security as stakeholders gathered in Calabar for the Unite Against Terror Security Summit. It is aimed at tackling kidnapping, cultism, drug abuse, cybercrime, human trafficking, and other security threats affecting communities across the state. The summit is coming as the state government is seeking to strengthen intelligence sharing, public vigilance and cooperation between residents and security agencies in order to sustain the relative peace recorded in recent months.
Discussions at the summit centered on the need for communities to become active partners in the fight against insecurity. Declaring the summit open on behalf of Governor Basio II, Deputy Governor Peter Ade said the administration inherited serious security challenges but has made security a top priority through initiatives such as Operation Upwalk and other joint security operations.
Under my administration, security has been treated as a top priority. Cross River State Unite Against Terror is a clear declaration. We say no to kidnapping, no to armed robbery, no to banditry, and no to cultism.
Delivering a keynote address, the director of the Department of State Services in Cross River described insecurity as a major threat to development and social stability.
We must shun the We Day campaign wrapped in blame trading and embrace the we approach.
This vision aligns perfectly with the people-centered leadership of His Excellency, Senator Prince Basio II, whose administration continues to prioritize peace, infrastructure, economic growth, youth development, and institutional collaboration as essential pillars of sustainable security.
Representatives of the police, army, the NSCDC, immigration and customs also delivered goodwill messages highlighting ongoing collaboration in intelligence gathering, border security, and community engagement, while traditional rulers, led by His Royal Majesty Oval Solomon Osim, pledged to mobilize their communities against violence and criminalities. In Emesat Ifiok, AIT News, Calabar.
Well, our guest on our report earlier talking about communities on the outskirts of Nigeria's capital renewing calls for inclusive development is joining us virtually, and Suwaiba Mohammed Dankabo, Deputy Country Director, Action Aid Nigeria. Good evening, it's good to have you.
We also would like to assure the members of the public that this will not stop until we get to the bottom of this case. We will continue.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us, Suwaiba. Let me begin with you on this particular note. The intervention that Action Aid just embarked on, it appears to, excite the community members a lot. But considering the level of hunger at the moment in these kinds of communities on the outskirts of the FCT, what kind of hope does an intervention like computer centers, training, and all that kind of stuff, how will it cushion the effects of poverty and basic hunger to begin with?
Thank you for having me. Action Aid Nigeria has worked in FCT for more than 15 years, and what we have been implementing is an integrated approach. The ICT Center is a tool that will help or facilitate the community in carrying out advocacy and connection with other peers, and also participation in the global development programs in their communities. And it's also helping to open the spaces for young people to engage in businesses and then also to sell their produce. And because they are able to connect to markets and value chain, they are able to link the production of their farms, they are able to link the challenges in their community and share with other people, and also engage in digital advocacy and digital campaigns. So the ICT, as you are seeing...
All right. Okay, so I'm listening to you. I'm also wondering how you are going to do intervention mapping. That's if you've not done it already. Are these interventions going to go to households, or are they going to go to individuals based on their community participation?
Because it's a priority for the community, and then targeting the young people. When we started in the communities, one of the major challenges we identify is that you'll find a community over 100 years living in that place, they don't have any single access to even a place that they can print any document. The young people, the children are in school, they don't know what computer is, they don't know how to communicate, they use digital technology. But with the opportunity they have, they were able to now come together. And then that particular ICT center in the Sabon Kaida community is just one of it. If you notice, in the 6 other communities, this kind of ICT center has transformed to community connectivity networks, which other organizations and donors have taken interest, and then they are funding a gradual transformation of young people, and they and opportunities for them, open opportunities for them to expand the scope of the work we are doing. So it's not targeting individuals, it's targeting the young people generally.
Madam Suwaiba, let me find out this. You see, such a community, definitely you will have, serious challenges talking about, electricity, power, to power the equipment that you have donated. And in addition to that, there are definitely persons with disabilities who live in these communities as well. Did you also factor that into, the provisions you made?
Okay, so our programs in all over Nigeria is inclusive. So we apply inclusive approach. What we preach and what we do is called access to gender responsive public service, which also take into consideration persons with disabilities, the adaptability of the particular intervention. We apply the 3 A's, that is the accessibility, adaptability, and even affordability. And then so persons with disability do have one of the computers, which is also have some equipment that persons with disabilities can use. And then it's also one of the opportunities that they have to engage in digital advocacy for other access in their community. They use that system to propagate or to advocate for the issues in their community. And then most of the other communities where we have this particular project, they are powered by solar system. So this is that one you saw in Sabo Kaida is a new, like I said, is a new one. And then so with that one, we are able to have that starting up with the generator, and then gradually is going to be powered by solar. And then it is managed directly by the community, because we usually want to make sure that the young people take charge, and then they now get with support from other donor organizations like the EU was there, and then we also have the APC, not the APC as a party, but Association for Progressive Access.
All right, all right.
So this is a tool for advocacy.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Suwaiba, for that, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Moving on now, this time to Kogi State, parishioners of St. Peter's the Apostle Catholic Church in Ajaokuta are demanding justice following the gruesome murder of their visiting priest, Reverend Father Samuel Oyetero, by yet to be identified assailants. The Kogi State Police Command says it has launched a full-scale investigation and manhunt to unravel the circumstances surrounding the killing.
It was a heartbreaking moment for members of St. Peter the Apostle Catholic Church at Ajaokuta when they woke up with the shocking discovery of the lifeless body of their visiting priest, Reverend Father Samuel Oyetero. Before his death, Reverend Father Oyetero has been standing in for the parish priest, Reverend Father Clement Wisaku, who was away on a 2-week leave. Parishioners described the late priest, who previously served at St. Mary's Catholic Church, Egbe, as humble, dedicated and committed to God's service.
He was with us because our parish priest went on leave, about 2 weeks leave, and he just begged him, this particular Father Samuel, to come and be with us You understand? Offer masses with us, celebrate masses with us in the morning and on Sunday. And he obliged and came down here.
He was a very likable person. We finish mass, he will come round, he will, embrace people, and then, so it's like people just love him under that 2 weeks.
Worshippers say the late priest celebrated mass on the day of the incident and insist that his killers must not escape justice. They describe his death as a painful loss to both the Catholic Church and the wider community.
We have suffered a lot of violence, you understand, because our prayer is for those people that have connection with the act to be apprehended, prosecuted. Let there be justice.
We want government to do all in its power to help us to track the person that killed this man, the person that killed him. No matter the amount they intended to collect from him, it is that they should find out the root cause and then let the person be brought to judgment.
The Kogi State Police Command says detectives have commenced full investigations and are on the trail for those behind the killing. The priest's body was reportedly found in a pool of blood along Church Road in Ajokuta.
The command is deeply committed to unraveling the circumstances surrounding the incident and to ensure that justice is served.
As investigations continue, parishioners remain hopeful that the mystery surrounding Reverend Father Samuel Oyetoro's death will be unraveled and those responsible will face the full weight of the law. Tehumba Akaya, AIT News, Ajaokuta.
Now, a report reaching us now from Plateau State Police Command has arrested one of the 8 suspects declared wanted in connection with the mob killing of University of Jos graduate Ibrahim I.B. Mbaya. Now, Command spokesperson SP Alfred Atabo is about to present the suspect to journalists just before journalists and provide an update on the live investigation. We now join the police briefing live from Jos. Adal Noya brings us that.
He said he didn't participate in any of that. Why there is the video evidence? No, he said he participated. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think we'll call it a wrap here. Thank you for coming. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you. Okay, what have I this for? Do you know anything about this? Why not? But all right. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. We have heard from the suspect and his level of participation in this barbaric act. We will continue to keep you updated on our investigation. More suspects will be arrested, I want to assure you of that. And when they are arrested, just like we have always done, we will come back to inform you of our investigation.
For the purpose of clarity, we see among the people who were looking for that they are feeling to turn themselves in, because they are arrested to turn themselves.
Yes, he is among the people. In fact, his own case was very easy because he was shown in the video, and he was known by the university. We have been working with them, and his details are being with us since then. And that is why the arrest was made. And other arrests too will be like this. Yes.
Say something.
All right, we're now being joined by AIT's correspondent, crime correspondent Ada Onanya, live from Jos, where the police has just briefed the public regarding the arrest of one of the suspects in the killing of a University of Jos student. Apart from this arrest, what else has the police done so far? All right, we'll be bringing you updates as we have them as the story develops. Operatives of the Mopol 5 Benin and Mopol 82 Squadron have held a 6-week special bush clearance operation along the Benin-Lagos Expressway and surrounding communities in Edo State. It was part of efforts to tackle kidnapping and other violent crimes. AIT's Sarose Sado reports that the operation targeted forests and isolated areas believed to serve as hideouts for criminal elements with the aim of improving security.
The Benin-Lagos Expressway is one of the country's busiest highways, making the safety of motorists and nearby communities a priority for the relevant authorities. To strengthen security along the road, the police mobile force in Edo State says it has spent the last 6 weeks combing the surrounding forest and suspected criminal hideouts. This operation at Igbo Sage community in Avia Northeast local government area by personnel of Mopo 5 PMF Benin and Mopo 82 Squadron Uromi is to conduct a final sweep after covering more than 20 flashpoints. Backed by surveillance drones, they searched the bushes for suspected criminal hideouts. Commanding officer of Mopo 5 PMF Benin, Assistant Commissioner of Police Sahid Egbeyemi, notes that the operation is aimed at dislodging criminal elements.
We'll just have a signal to these terrorists, kidnappers, bandits that Edo State is not a place of a safe haven for them. You know, the best form of defense is attack, and that is what we are doing. We are bringing the battle to their doorstep. And for God's sake, and to God be the glory, all of them, they have already vamoosed, and we are going to sustain this operation.
He also urges members of the public to support the police with timely information, stressing that cooperation remains key to fighting crime.
My advice, or probably my appeal to the members of the public is, we are not spirits. We don't consult oracle to bust crime. What we need is intelligence from them. The era of saying if you give police intelligence or information, they will betray you, no.
The police mobile force insists that the operation will continue with sustained efforts to keep the Benin-Lagos road and surrounding communities safe. Sarose Sado, AIT News Benin.
Now, operators of the Understate Security Network Agency, codenamed Amotokunkor, have rescued 2 young Fulani herders abducted by suspected kidnappers in the forest along the Ondo-Edo State boundary. The commander of the corps, Adetunju Adeleye, disclosed this on Tuesday at the agency's headquarters in Akure, the Ondo State capital. The victims, identified as Abubakar Umaru and Abdullahi Umaru, were reportedly grazing cattle in the Owo axis when they were seized by the kidnappers and taken deep into the forest. Adeleye said the rescue operation was launched after the victims' parents reported that the boys had failed to return home with their cattle. According to him, Amotekun operatives first recovered the missing cattle before extending the search, which led them to the kidnappers' hideout, where the victims were successfully rescued.
Fulani boys were kidnapped and their cattle rustled in our local government. We moved into action because they reported at about 2 a.m. that the children that went out did not come back behind. First, we were able to retrieve all the cows. Then we went after looking for the children. We were able to locate the boys in the early hours of yesterday, and the abductors ran away.
The Amotekun commander said the suspected kidnappers fled the scene after discovering that security operatives had surrounded the area, allowing the victims to be rescued unharmed.
Still staying with security issues, efforts to boost security across the nation's troubled central region are gathering pace. This is as the government of Benue State has pledged full infrastructural and logistical support for the takeoff of the Nigerian Army's newly established 5th Division in the state.
Benue has long been an epicenter of deadly agrarian and security challenges in Nigeria's Middle Belt. High-level talks in Makurdi as the Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia meets a delegation from the Nigerian Army Headquarters Implementation Committee. The visit marks a critical milestone in expanding Nigeria's military footprint in the region. Governor Alia confirmed the state will provide land, logistics, and full funding to construct and furnish the headquarters for the newly approved 5th Division, along with several auxiliary military units.
To assure this team that Benue State, who plays host to 5th Division headquarters, would provide adequate land for all the formations and units.
The visiting military delegation was led by Major General Raymond Utaha alongside the Pioneer General Officer Commanding of the new 5th Division, Major General M.K. Gara.
Operational objectives of this expansion is to enhance troops' presence within critical areas, improve operational response time to emerging and prevailing threats, strengthen security coverage and protection of lives and property.
Different parts of Benue State will see new units being established. The Nigerian Army is a very professional army and highly accountable.
For a region heavily reliant on agriculture, persistent security threats have strained local economies and displaced thousands. Officials hope the deployment of the 5th Division will prove to be a decisive turning point in stabilizing Nigeria's agrarian heartland. Dofan Aga, AIT News, Makurdi.
Still on security matters, this time from Taraba State. Governor Abu Kefa said he will not condone actions that will erode the peace and security of the state, which took a lot for his administration to restore. Now, the governor was speaking after signing 3 executive orders that seeks to maintain peace, security, as well as avoid the breakdown of law and order in the state.
The 3 executive orders signed by Taraba State Governor Abu Kefa aims at protecting citizens and getting rid of crime and criminality in the state. The first order is on the prohibition of political thuggery in the state as it approaches the season of political campaigns and elections. The second is on the protection of mining host communities in the state with a goal to ensure development agreement in such communities and curbing insecurity in partnership with the federal government. While the last executive order is the enforcement of the legislation on drug abuse to curb the rising rate of drug abuse by youth in the state. Governor Abu Kefa said all 3 executive orders are within the constitutional obligations of his office to ensure the safety of lives and property. He also warned that he will not allow any unruly behavior that will cost the peace and security enjoyed in the state.
It has become necessary for me to sign these 3 executive orders as a matter of urgency. When we say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, we should be able to back it up with mentorship, spiritual support, moral support, training, and empowerment and all that it takes for them to become leaders tomorrow.
The Attorney General of the state, Yakubu Maikaswa, SAN, said the new orders will rid the state of criminality. The signing of the executive orders is welcomed by youths and civil society organizations as they were represented at the event.
The signing of 3 executive orders on matters that have arisen ex improviso to tackle issues that may militate against the constitutional role of a governor.
The Taraba state government clarified that the executive orders are not to stop citizens from going about their lawful engagements, but guidelines must be followed to protect lives and property. Lamini Chuye, AIT News, Jalingo.
Now, in Bauchi State, Governor Bala Mohammed has directed the Nigerian Army and other security agencies to take decisive action against illegal mining across the state. The governor also ordered that no one should be spared, regardless of status or relationship, if found engaging in the illegal activity. He gave the directive while receiving the General Officer commanding the GOC 3 Division of the Nigerian Army and Commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Maxwell Dangana, during a courtesy visit to the government house in Bauchi.
As part of his maiden operational tour of military formations under the 3 Division, Major General Maxwell Dangana said the visit was aimed at reviewing ongoing security operations, assessing existing strategies, and strengthening the security architecture across states under the division's area of responsibility to ensure lasting peace and stability.
We are committed to providing all the necessary support and securing every law-abiding citizen in Bauchi State.
Receiving the delegation, Governor Bala Mohammed commended the Nigerian Army for its sustained efforts in tackling insecurity, particularly in parts of Al-Kaleri local government area. The governor described illegal mining as a major driver of insecurity and criminal activities.
We are battling with leaders, GOC. Even our own stakeholders are part of the bad practice of illegal mining because of the huge economic advantages. I want you to intensify your intelligence. Don't spare anybody. Even if my son is involved in illegal mining, deal with him decisively because it will fuel insecurity.
Governor Bala Mohammed also assured the GOC of the state's continuous support in the fight against insecurity.
The federal government has given each state government 3 billion naira. We intend to use it properly for security. We are not going to take it to any other purpose. So we have noted all their requests. As for the Duguri-Mansour access road, we have already awarded the contract to Triacta at the cost of 40 billion naira.
The governor further appealed to traditional rulers, community leaders, and other stakeholders to work closely with security agencies by providing timely and credible intelligence to support ongoing efforts aimed at safeguarding lives and property across the state. Suleiman Issa, AIT News Watch.
If you're just tuning in, this is Nigeria Today. We'll take a break at this point. We will come back for more stories. Don't go away.
The stories now break online. Miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
Welcome back. Now, the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has trained 200 women in River State on small-scale business incubation. The managing director of the NDDC, Samuel Obuko, says the gesture is part of activities marking the celebration of the International Women's Day in Port Harcourt for Rivers State women. AIT Chibuchi Chukwu has more.
200 women selected across the 23 local government areas of Rivers State were trained and empowered by the NDDC on how to launch and manage successfully small-scale enterprises. The managing director of the NDDC, Samuel Boku, says the gesture, which is part of the celebration of the International Women's Day, urged the participants to make good use of the training to grow their businesses.
So we brought them so that after this program across the 9 states, we want to have a catalyst of women whose businesses have grown from informal sector to formal sector. We want to see women whose products have gone places, whether it's chin-chin, whether it's cassava chips, plantain chips.
Some of the beneficiaries commended the NDDC for the training and empowerment.
Today's program is something that if you're not here, you're missing, because we have got what we have not gotten before. NAFDAC representative was there. The difference between groundnut and peanut is packaging.
Thank you very much, NDDC, for this program. At least I've learned one thing or the other that I will go home with and tell my neighbors and tell my friends.
Lectures were presented by officials of NAFDAC on quality assurance and regulatory compliance and the Nigeria Export Promotion Council on non-oil opportunities, export procedures and certification. Chibuchichuku, AIT News, Port Harcourt.
Now, the Federal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, has convened a Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery quarterly review meeting to assess progress in strengthening primary healthcare services across northern Nigeria. The meeting focused on improving access to quality healthcare in communities.
The meeting is targeting achievement, identify existing challenges, and outline practical strategies to expand access to quality healthcare services, particularly for women and children in underserved communities across northern states.
As a responsible country, we have to invest in the health of our population. The federal government, through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's direction, we have ensured the federal government continues to allocate, prioritizes, invests in issues of health, not only primary health care, but also tertiary health care, public health services, and many other arenas, where we continually call on states to join the federal government to co-finance these important efforts.
Officials of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency reaffirmed that healthcare workers across the country continues to receive training on vaccine management while discussing the need to close immunity gaps that continue to expose children to vaccine-preventable diseases.
Conversations today is focusing on where are those areas where we still have challenges, what are those challenges, and how can the traditional leaders help us? How can they influence the state? How can we continue to work together as a federal government, as a state government, with local governments and the communities to try to address the barriers?
I urge every member of this committee to remain steadfast. Let us work tirelessly in our kingdoms, emirates and chiefdoms. Let us ensure that no child is denied immunization, no pregnant woman is left without care, no disease outbreak goes unreported, and no community is left behind.
The meeting concluded with renewed commitment by government, traditional institutions, and development partners to sustain collaborative efforts aimed at expanding quality healthcare services, strengthening immunization programs, and ensuring the effective management and equitable distribution of vaccines across communities in northern Nigeria. Unikwojo Atta, AIT News, Abuja.
Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says his administration remains committed to providing critical infrastructure that will have a direct impact on the lives of ordinary Nigerians. The president stated this at the flag-off of the reconstruction of the 122-kilometer Biringwari-Kaduna Road in Afaka, Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria.
The flag-off ceremony for the reconstruction of the 122-kilometer Biringwari-Kaduna Road attracted top government officials, traditional rulers, members of the National Assembly, and the host community. The 178 billion naira project is aimed at improving security, boosting commerce, and enhancing connectivity between northern and southern Nigeria. The project is expected to be completed within 24 months.
We are pleased that the contractor has fully mobilized and is moving heavy health equipment to site in readiness for full construction activities.
The prosperity of many households is tied to this road.
It is therefore our earnest prayer that this project will be executed in the highest standard of quality, diligence, and integrity, and completed within the stipulated period.
The Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, said the Tinubu administration remains committed to improving the welfare of Nigerians through strategic infrastructure development.
So when people say we are borrowing to do all these roads. When people talk about hunger, we are using this road to fight the hunger we met on ground. When people talk about insecurity, Your Excellency, you know that before this Abuja Kaduna started, there were a lot of insecurity. There were a lot of kidnapping. Today, since the president started this road, no one has been kidnapped on this corridor.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Kaduna State Governor Ubasani, said the reconstruction of the Birnin-Gwari-Kaduna Road fulfills a promise he made during his 2022 campaign visit to Birnin-Gwari. He recalled that despite security concerns at the time, he visited the area and pledged to restore security and reconstruct the road.
He made it clear to everyone at that time that as someone who is campaigning to be the president of Nigeria, he must visit Birnin-Gwari. At that time, it was the epicenter of insecurity and insurgency in the whole of Nigeria. That shows that he was dogged, he was committed, and he was prepared to address the issue of insecurity in our country and Kaduna State in particular.
Governor Basani also disclosed that the president's recent approval of funding for the Kaduna Light Rail project further demonstrates the federal government's commitment to delivering critical infrastructure across Kaduna State.
So we are happy, we are grateful to the president for recognizing that Kaduna is the heart of northern Nigeria. We will continue to show our support. We will continue to support the president and have no doubt in my mind. The 2027 election has been concluded.
The Birnin-Gwari-Kaduna Road is regarded as a strategic economic corridor linking Kaduna State with parts of Niger, Kwara, Osun, Oyo, and Lagos states. Expectations are that the completion of the project will improve trade, strengthen security, reduce travel time, and promote regional integration. Abimanje Moses, AIT News, Kaduna.
You're still watching Nigeria Today. Up next is sports.
Now, up to 1,000 athletes from across will participate in the 2026 Port Harcourt International Marathon. According to the organizers, the marathon will serve as an opportunity to showcase the state's rich cultural heritage, economic potential, and serene atmosphere in the state.
According to the organizers, about 10,000 athletes from Nigeria and the rest of Africa will light up the route course during the Port Harcourt International Marathon. The convener of the marathon race, Goodluck Azuwena, opined that the event will further reinforce the notion that Port Harcourt is very safe for businesses to thrive.
The Port Harcourt International Marathon, which is a world-class event that represents far more than just a race. It is a platform of unity, tourism, economic growth, youth empowerment, and global visibility. Through it, we invite the world to experience the true spirit of Port Harcourt.
For once, we would demonstrate to the world that Port Harcourt is the best place to do your business. Yeah, a lot of people who don't know Port Harcourt believe Port Harcourt is a place to run away from. But today, we are here telling you that Port Harcourt is the place to do your business and to engage with the community.
The 21-kilometer race, which will stretch from the Port Harcourt Polo Club through Peter Odili Road to Elekaya, is also geared towards actualizing key United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Because we are an international race and we're channeling it towards SDG 3, which talks about good health and well-being, SDG 11, which talks about sustainable cities and communities, SDG 13, which talks about climate action.
The Port Harcourt International Marathon, scheduled for November 14, 2026, is start the Green Race. Abajo Sekwe, AIT News, Port Harcourt.
We're now being joined by a sports analyst and marketing consultant in person of Tunde Bello. He joins us now to discuss the upcoming Port Harcourt Marathon. Thank you very much, Tunde, for joining the Nigeria Today. let me ask you this. From a sport marketing perspective, how significant will this international marathon in Port Harcourt be, concerning the city's image and, of course, the visibility globally?
All right, thank you. First and foremost, it's been a while since we had something that brings everybody together, particularly an international event. So in terms of marketing, it's a good vibe. It's something that puts the state on the national map again. And everything that has to do with that is anything that will be welcome. So from a global perspective, it also resonates with the importance of the city or the states to Nigeria economy. Of course, we all know that Rivers State is the oil and gas capital of Nigeria, which derives its major economic and financial inflows from that place. So bringing this will also help to magnify the importance and the strategic positioning of the state.
Now, so events like the London, Boston, and Lagos City marathons have become major economic drivers. Now, what lessons can these also learn from it, and what are your expectations?
Okay, for every sporting event, we just witnessed the World Cup. We know what economic benefits it has brought to all the cities that hosted the World Cup. You cannot over-quantify the economic benefit that is going to come, particularly for small businesses and then organized private sector, marketing companies, brand companies, corporate strategy and communications companies, media companies, as well as informal sector where you want to look at the issue of water, beverages, medical equipment, as well as hotel and accommodation. You also want to look at the hospitality business in large, because the number of persons that will be coming into the states, plus their entourage, their teams, the medical team, the nutrition team, the brand team, the paraphernalia of everybody that is going to be associated with the athletes, they must be accommodated, and they want to also see the other side of the city. Our prime food, the Bolian fish, the seafood, everybody wants to have a taste, and that will automatically bring into the benefits that mostly always come with such a magnitude of event that normally hosts.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned, the local delicacies which a lot of persons will probably want to, have a taste of. Now, I understand also that the organizers say about 10,000 athletes are expected. Can the city of Port Harcourt, really accommodate, if you will, this number of athletes? It could be more, and of course, spectators that will come from all over to participate. So is the city of Port Harcourt really ready?
Okay, yeah, I would say emphatically yes, not because of politics or anything. For every city in this country, whatever every big city, every metropolitan can offer Nigeria or international guests, Port Harcourt City can offer as much, if not more. Forget about the fact that there are, of course, negative reports. But in terms of accommodation, in terms of logistics, in terms of hospitality, Rivers State and Port Harcourt can accommodate 10,000 athletes. This is a city that accommodates over 3 million people on its own. You want to look at international hotels with 4 stars and 5 stars. Of course, we have more than 5 international hotels that are ranked 4 stars and 5 stars in this city alone. And then you want to also look at 3-star standard hotels that can accommodate all these athletes and the people that will be following or bringing them. We've had events in the past. We've hosted the World Book Capital. We've been a World Book Capital. We've hosted international events, the Nigerian Bar Association. We've hosted the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria events, where we have over 5,000 people coming from different places to Nigeria. We've had even other religious activities that hosted more than 5,000 people. When it comes to the number, within the city is more than capable to host any international event of this nature. And I can assure you that in terms of accommodation, capacity to accommodate the people that are coming, Port Harcourt has got all the facilities intact.
Thank you so much for that enthusiastic answer. I know we said 10,000, but we were just being hopeful. I know it's 1,000 at least you expected. So all the best ahead of the games, absolutely.
So exactly, that to clarify that, yeah.
Thank you
for joining us.
All right, up to Nini Jimo from Kogi State has emerged as champion in the Masters category of the 6th Governor Doyediri National Scrabble Classic in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doyediri, who attended the tournament, describes Scrabble as a game that sharpens the mind and promotes cognitive development amongst young people.
The two-day championship attracts over 300 participants competing across different categories for honors and cash prizes. The president of Nigeria's Scrabble Federation, Bright Idahosa, commends Governor Doyediri for supporting growth of sports, particularly intellectual games in Bayelsa State.
What you have done in Bayelsa for Scrabble does not reverberate only here in Bayelsa. It reverberates both in the full country and in the full world.
If we continue to have this kind of support, particularly across or beyond what Bayelsa is doing, then other countries will just be looking at back.
Coming to win this tournament at this time of the year means a lot to me, and I really, really want to thank God.
I thank the governor of Bayelsa State for giving me the sum of 1 million naira, and I promise I'll be a good girl and keep on playing Scrabble.
Governor Diri, who takes part in one of the games, emphasizes the importance of promoting Scrabble at all levels.
For us, this is one game that we must continue to encourage. So next year, the Masters category will be 5 million. We are promoting a game that occupies your time positively. So for me, it is a yes to youth development.
The tournament ends with the presentation of trophies, medals and cash prizes to outstanding players, as Abdul Mimin Jimo from Kogi State emerges the overall winner in the Masters category. Oni Sofian Owe, AIT News, Yenagoa.
And from Scrabble, the mind game, to football, former Super Eagles midfielder and 2013 Africa Cup of Nations winner Nosai Gebo has called for greater investment in grassroots football development, saying Nigeria's recent struggles on the international stage are a reflection of years of neglect at the grassroots.
After 24 weeks of exciting football, the 2026 FCT Jose Neo Kiddies Football League came to a colorful conclusion with some of the nation's brightest young talent showcasing their skills. The competition featured 24 teams across 5 age categories from under 7 to under 15. Camp United emerged champions in the under 7 and under 9 categories, while Young Stars claimed the under 11 title. Youth FC lifted the under 13 trophy, and Eagles Wings finished top of the under 15 division.
A very fun experience, and there are many lessons we learned along the way. It wasn't an easy journey because we had to fight very hard against the other teams that are also very good. But in the end, our coaches, what they've instilled in us, were able to show it on the pitch and win the tournament.
I learned that if we don't work as a team, that nothing can be achieved. And it has been a great session. This is the second tournament that we're having for this particular title.
My advice to them, especially those that has not performed well, is that use this as a yardstick to judge yourself and improve more. And for those that are winning today, those that are going home with trophies, medals, cash prizes and all, it is for them to work even harder.
Impressed by the quality of football on display, Nosai Gable commended the young players for their commitment and encouraged them to remain disciplined and focused in pursuit of their football dreams. The former Real Betis midfielder also urged football administrators, corporate organizations and governments at all levels to invest more in grassroots football, insisting that sustainable success at the national level can only be achieved by developing young talent from the foundation.
For football development, this is what we need, you understand? Because in Europe, these are the kind of things where you pick the lives of Messi, Ronaldo, you understand? You get them at this age, and when you continue to work on boys like this, then that's how we get to the top.
As another edition of the Josephine Kiddies Football League comes to a close, stakeholders believe sustained investment in grassroots competitions remains the surest pathway to producing the next generation of Super Eagles stars and restoring Nigeria's place among Africa's football elites. Laila Wal, AIT News Abuja.
Well, that's Nigeria Today. I am Adora Sydney Jack.
And I am Enemaku Ojochegbe. Thanks a lot for watching.